Hi everyone, welcome to the Guardian Q3 2024 release webinar with myself, Stephen Earle, Head of Product at Cloudhouse, and John Dedman, Head of our Pre-Sales team. Today I wanted to take you through the current content of the Q3 release which comes out today. First of all, we're adding FreshService Node Detection, FreshService Actions, Panorama Dashboard version 1, and enhanced blueprints for AWS node types. So as part of our FreshService integration, we are providing the ability to detect new nodes from the FreshService Asset Management module. It works exactly the same as our ServiceNow integration. For those of you who don't know, it incrementally checks your service management tools in order to find the new nodes. It will then pull down changes after the initial population. We're also introducing the ability to filter and assign nodes to groups as the data is imported, so it's doing a little bit of post-processing for you, but it gives you value faster and enables you to onboard data in a more efficient manner. And the other part of the FreshService integration we're introducing today is to enable actions for FreshService as part of policy assessment outputs, etc. So you can trigger events that create FreshService incidents or problems, that kind of thing. We're not today introducing the full change reconciliation capability that we've been discussing with some of you, and this is because FreshService poses some additional elements that we weren't expecting. So we need to do some more testing, and we also need to do some new capability creation in order to make sure you can benefit from introducing Guardian to your FreshService ecosystem. Things such as configurable status types, the level of integration that you want to have between the tool sets, and that's just requiring a little bit more time. So we're hoping to provide the update for that really soon, so you can take the advantage of change reconciliation in your processes. Panorama Dashboard is our marquee feature for this release. We've been talking to many of you about this. We've had you participating in our Guardian Evolution sessions, providing lots of really great feedback. One of the important things we've tried to do is incorporate as much of that into this Panorama Dashboard first release. John's going to take you through that in a moment, and also make sure that we continue the conversation with you about where we're heading with Dashboard and where we're heading with the functionality overall. One of the important things that we found was the Guardian Evolution sessions really helped us refine our ideas and thinking. So what I'd really like to do is invite you to join us for the next series of Guardian Evolution sessions, which kick off on the 5th of November. They're kicking off at 6:30 p.m. GMT, and we'll be sending out invitations and registration emails after this webinar so you can register and take part. Really do hope to see you there. With that, I'm going to hand over to John, and he's going to take you through the features that we've introduced, show you where you'll be able to find the FreshService hooks that we've now exposed, and how Panorama Dashboard fits into the Guardian landscape ecosystem. John, over to you.
Thanks, Stephen. So here we're going to be talking through the Panorama Dashboard, and then I'll go into the elements where we've added in FreshService integrations into Guardian. But we're going to start inside the dashboard because it's an area we're really proud to be bringing to you and very excited about. We've had wonderful input from a number of customers through our evolution sessions to try and bring this up to the version that we've got to today when it's ready for release, and we're very excited to be sharing it with you. The idea of the Panorama Dashboard is to bring as much information as we can to the highest level possible, to make it easy for you to work with the information that's inside Guardian in a more focused way, without having to rely on events driving actions to notify you of activities that are going on, and give you oversight on the health of the estate, but also some areas that may need some immediate rectification or at least validation around the outside of it. So the idea of the dashboard is to elevate this information and to focus the information down into relevant areas. We have a set of indicators that are here to show you basic information across a number of different areas. Now we will be growing this set of indicators over time. For the initial release, we've just focused on core capabilities inside Guardian to make sure that we've got the right information flowing up. But this will in the future be expanded into a wider set of indicators that can then focus on more particular information that may be relevant to particular job roles or particular focuses. So the elements that we have that we can trigger as indicators at the moment are a view on nodes that have been added to the various organizations over a period of time. And so we can see here that there is a date filter of the last 30 days that I'm viewing on. We'll talk about filters a bit more in a moment. But this focuses on, as I say, the number of nodes that have been added across a number of different organizations. This is one area, obviously, where if you have a large number of organizations or you're planning to increase the number of organizations, this is an area where we can start to focus that information into a single view to try and avoiding having to jump between environments to understand what's going on. In terms of the other indicators, we have nodes with failed policies associated to them. We have a list of nodes that do not have a policy associated to them. We have a list of jobs that have failed on the various environments, and we have a list of nodes which failed to scan. Now, one thing you'll notice immediately from these indicators is we have a number that are highlighted red and one that's highlighted green, because we've put thresholds against this to try and make it easy to structure what you're interested in and bring your attention to areas that need to be monitored, tracked and understood. So in the case of how these thresholds work, I have the ability to go in and configure what the thresholds need to be for the various states. So in this case, if my number of nodes added was below 50, I would be showing green. If it was between 50 and 100, I would be showing amber. And if it was over 100, I would be showing red, like I am currently. But if I go in and up the value associated to this, then we can see that that threshold number changes as appropriate. I'll just reset that. We're back to showing everything as was. Also, it's worthwhile mentioning in here that we can filter down to particular date ranges that might be of interest. If you're getting swamped with a large amount of information, you can start to filter down to tighter time ranges to be able to get the information in a more digestible format if there's too much going on. So we've talked there about nodes that have been added. We also have nodes with failed policies associated to them. In this case, this is a count of the nodes with failed policy checks, again based on the time ranges that have been set in place. We have that list of unmanaged nodes, and that list is just a simple list of all of the nodes with no policies applied. The idea here being that this may be something that is of interest if things aren't being validated by policies. You may need to know that. You may want to ensure that policies are being applied across as much of your estate as possible and in the appropriate way, and this is just highlighting those nodes that haven't got any policies associated with them. Failed jobs is fairly self-explanatory in terms of what it's doing, so we can quickly see here where jobs have failed and get an understanding of what's going on in terms of those particular failures based on the type associated to them. And then we have the nodes with failed scans that again is broken down to try and show me where those nodes are and what's going on. For all of these indicators, apart from the unmanaged nodes, we have a set of donuts available, and those donuts are there to enable me to focus in on particular elements that I may be interested in seeing. So in this case, I have a number of nodes with failed scans, and I can start to see and understand where they are in my environment, in this case based on connection manager group, or I can do it by organization to again focus on the key elements that I'm interested in seeing. And this is common across all of the indicators apart from the unmanaged nodes, where I have the ability to go in and focus on those key pieces of information and elevate them up. If I click on any of these, they will filter down the subset of list below to just the information that I'm looking at. So in this case, I have 38 nodes that have failed to scan in my Linux package 24. If I go and have a look at my Linux package CM24, then I only have 2 nodes present, and the table below is dynamically updated with those filters as they're applied. And if I want to go back to the previous information, I can just go and clear that filter, and that will bring me back to the full list. You'll notice we're only showing a subset of the information here. Obviously, if you start getting very large numbers of failed scans or nodes with failed policies, then this list could get unwieldy, and we're trying to make sure that this is focused on the simplest high-level information to enable you to make some judgment calls about what's coming back from that. But we have the ability to be able to go in and expand this table out into a full list of all of, in this case, the nodes with scan failures since the specified date. This list is something that I can then go and work through, get an understanding of what's going on, and be able to focus on to be able to get to the nodes with failures, so I can go and determine exactly what's going on. But if I switch back to my dashboard to start with, this table is only showing me a limited set of information, but this limited set of information can be activated and run and actually enable me to get down to the lowest level, which in this case is being able to jump directly to a node. So I can click on that node in my list, and it will take me directly to that node scan failure that's occurred, so I can go and understand exactly what's going on there. And that's true for any of these subtables. I can go and click on a link that will take me directly to the relevant information inside Guardian. Jobs is obviously slightly different. It's not going to take me to a direct node, but if I went in and focused in on some of the failed jobs in my Guardian test organization, I can then go in, click on this, and it will take me to the failed job inside that particular organization as well. So in this case, it's taking me directly to the point where the failure occurred, or the job that failed, rather than taking me to a specific node associated to it. So that's a fairly high-level view of what we can do with the Panorama Dashboard. Again, it's trying to drive information in a way that makes it available for people to interact with at a very high level, make some judgments on what's coming through, and be able to focus and tailor that information as appropriate. There's one other element that's important on this dashboard, which is again using the ability to look across organizations to be actually able to perform a search and filter down the information that I'm seeing to be able to jump particularly to a node that I know the name of, regardless of where it sits in my environment. So if I start typing in a node name, instantly I'll get a broken down list of all of the nodes that contain that substring across all of the organizations. So you can see we've got 2 organizations here and 2 connection manager groups that are actually containing nodes with that particular name. And as I keep typing that name, that filtered list shrinks smaller and smaller to pick up exactly what I'm interested in seeing. So again, I can then drive down that list to a set that I can easily interact with and understand, and then I can click on that node and it will jump straight me to that node inside Guardian as required and show me the information that I'm interested in seeing without having to go to different organizations and different environments to be able to find the node that I'm interested in seeing. The Panorama search functionality enables me to jump straight to that node. We're calling that landscape search because it looks across your entire Guardian landscape to try and find the information, and the idea is again trying to simplify the ability to get down to the lowest level of information as quickly as possible. The other piece that we wanted to talk about today that Stephen has mentioned is our new integration with FreshService. I'm not going to go in and show a full integration with FreshService going on today, but just to show you a quick overview of where we've started to add that capability. We'll be expanding in the future as well. If I go into my add nodes, I now have the ability to go and interrogate FreshService CMDB to be able to pull in all of the nodes associated from that CMDB, and it works exactly in the same way as the ServiceNow CMDB integration as well. And I also have the ability to set up an integration to enable me to manage actions associated to events. So if I go into my integrations, I can now add an integration, and we have the ability to set up a FreshService integration in exactly the same way as the other integrations that we have, with the basic information to be able to log in and connect to the environment to be able to trigger actions based on events that have occurred. So for example, if you had a policy failure, you could set up a ticket in FreshService by triggering that action off the back of an event of a policy failure. So those are the elements that we wanted to cover off in the demonstration today. I'll now hand you back to Stephen to talk about what's coming next. Stephen, back to you.
So thanks for that, John. Great demo, and I hope you guys get a good understanding of how the new release hangs together and how you'll be able to make use of Panorama Dashboard and the FreshService integrations. What I really want to ask for now is your feedback. As you know, we're open to feedback, incorporating things that you guys see in your day-to-day roles where we can provide support and enrich how Guardian can give you more value out of it. So please feel free to send feedback to myself, stephen.earl@cloudhouse.com, as usual, or feel free to get in touch with me via your account manager, support folks. If you have a chat with John, or if you're talking to anyone in Cloudhouse, they can route any feedback to me. So please do so. We look forward to seeing you at the next webinar, which will be in 3 months' time for this release. As I said, we have an evolution session on the 5th of November, kicking off the next series. Evolution sessions are a monthly touch point with you where we get to show you what we're doing, what we're planning, and allow you to have input into our direction and the features that you will see in upcoming releases. So thank you again for joining us. We look forward to speaking to you next time, and have a good rest of your day. Thank you.